Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I was born in Osaka, Japan. I am half Japanese and half American. My mom was born and raised in Japan, while my dad was born and raised here in the United States. My family and I moved here to America just before I turned 2 years old. We have lived in Utah, Arizona, Colorado. We moved back to Utah and moved around a few times, and then now here we are in Tennessee. And I have also been able to visit everywhere from California to Florida to Hawaii and a couple of other states in between. Now, I tell you that not because I want to bore you with facts about my life story, but in the hopes that I might be able to express to you just how much I love to travel. You could say that traveling is part of my nature because it's something that has been very important to me, and it's part of my childhood and part of my process of growing up, I guess you could say. For me, I love traveling so much. I believe that there is so much value in it. As I have had the opportunity to travel while growing up, I have learned so much about this world that I live in and the people that I share it with as well. A man named Kevin Kelly once said, quote, "Travel is still the most intense mode of learning," close quote. As I've had the opportunity to travel, I have learned so much about history, languages, cultures, religions, and so much more. And yes, those are things that we can learn in a textbook sitting in a classroom, and I'm grateful for those opportunities to learn at school. But there is so much power in traveling and seeing the world and witnessing those things for yourself. And I know as I've done so, I've been able to learn for myself and not only learn about those things, but gain my own appreciation for them as well. And it's through that gaining of knowledge that we can answer the first question of the Rotary Club's 4-way test, which asks, is it the truth? And I know that as I have traveled, I have been able to learn for myself what this world is really all about. Traveling has also given me a greater perspective of the world. Every time I travel, I always receive the humbling reminder that there is so much more to this world than just my own personal little bubble. It's so easy for us to get caught up in our day-to-day lives that sometimes we forget to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. We forget because we get into tunnel vision mode and we forget to see that there's more out there. Over the years, I have made my own discovery that while we all have our own differences, we really and truly, when it comes down to it, we are all the same. We all have struggles that we go through. We all have weaknesses that we're trying to overcome. We all have strengths and accomplishments that make us who we are. And having that perspective also answers the second question of the 4-way test, which asks, is it fair to all concerned? Absolutely it is, because as we gain that perspective, we can learn to be fair to those we come in contact with. It is my firm belief that the more you know and the more you learn, the better you can relate with and connect to other people. And that is such an important concept because, especially in this day and age with our society, sometimes we struggle to connect with other people. We tend to separate ourselves based on our differences, but we need to find those similarities and unite together so that we can progress as a society and we can work together. And that then answers the third question of the 4-way test, which asks, will it build goodwill and better friendships? As we meet people through our travels, we can understand them, we can learn to put ourselves in their shoes, we can empathize with others. And as we do that, we can work together and build those friendships. The fourth question of the 4-way test asks, will it be beneficial to all concerned? I know through my own personal travels, I not only have been able to learn more about this world that I live in, but I have learned so much more about myself. I have gained a better idea of how I might be able to fit into this world as I've traveled. I have gained a greater sense of purpose and identity through those experiences that I gained, and I know that we can all do that as we travel as well, and that is beneficial to all of us in our own individual lives. In the Pixar animated film Up, we are reminded that adventure is out there. Ladies and gentlemen, this world is far too vast and beautiful for us not to explore it. There is so much out there for us to learn. I encourage you to seek those opportunities as much as you can to learn about this world, because it is your world. This is the world that you live in. Learn as much as you can. I know that we may not always have the means to travel, and I don't get to do it very frequently either, but when those opportunities come up, it's so important. It's not only a privilege, but our responsibility to seize those opportunities and learn as much as we can so we can gain that knowledge and we can have greater perspective and we can learn to work together and understand one another. And that's something that we tend to forget in our society nowadays. But it's so important that we do that and we make the most of the lives that we have here on this earth. And thank you so much.